Okay. No, maybe we can think of a topic for you to write to one of the 7 presidents about.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Is it true? I don't know. I've heard this at some point. Is it true that on Sundays, by law, you can't make a lot of noise? That there's like, or you can't mow the lawn, or I don't know, have your music very loud or something like that.
I'm not sure if this is specifically the case for a Sunday, but I know that, for example, on a normal day, after 10 p.m., when you are making noise, then the police will come. And so yeah, I would say that there is such a law that you are not allowed to make a lot of noise in the night. It is called Nachtruhestörung in German.
That's a long word. Wow.
It means, literally translated, it means night rest disturbing.
Yeah, it's such a German thing to have those 3 words pushed into one, isn't it?
No, I'm not quite sure, but I know that Sunday, of course, has a huge meaning because, I mean, above all, with the Catholics, right? If you are religious, then usually you are not allowed to work on Sundays.
Yeah, that's true.
But I can't say what is written in the law. It would be interesting to look it up.
Maybe it's just a myth. Yeah, maybe it's a myth. Okay, last question about Switzerland. Well, you said at the beginning that you generally prefer to eat foreign food, but what is the typical Swiss dish, the typical food?
So the first one I want to mention is fondue. Maybe you have heard about it. It's some sort of melted cheese.
Yeah, you're not going to like this, Daniel, but I actually always thought that was French.
Okay, I see. But it is also possible that some areas of France are having that as well. Well, I guess so. And then
maybe
and
so fondue would be melted cheese, and then you dip things in. Is that right?
Yes, with a bread, crucible of bread. I don't know how to say it. Crouton, and then you also can put a little bit wine in it, white wine. But actually, I don't like it at all.
Is it too rich for you?
Yeah, too much cheese in it. I'm not a cheese guy.
No, pure fat. And would that be any type of cheese, or is there a specific cheese that you're supposed to have with fondue?
Yeah, there are specific cheeses that are suitable for that. But as I don't like cheese, so I can't exactly say or tell you which one is the best, because in any case I won't try.
Okay, fair enough. So number 1 Swiss food, fondue. That is not for you, Daniel. Is there another one?
The other one is more suitable for me, but it is not special at all. It is called Rösti, and I think I don't know if in the UK you have something similar. Maybe I'm mistaken. It is like hash browns.
Hash browns. So hash brown for me is mostly potato with a bit of onion and then deep fried.
Okay, I see. It is similar. So Rösti, you kind of grate a boiled potato. You grate it so that you have small stripes.
Yeah.
And then you can put it in a pan, and then you can also put in onions, and that's it, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, when I was in Luxembourg, I remember having something really similar to that. And if we've got any random Luxembourgish person, they can tell us what that was called. But it was just like that. It sounded just like that. And, it's delicious. But it's mostly just potato, or does it have something else as well?
It comes with different variations. So depending on the region, every region has a specialty. So for instance, you can put a lot of cheese on it too, but this is not my cup of tea, as you know. And also you can have some sausages alongside,
Right.
or some fried eggs. So it is really a simple dish, right? It is really simple.
No vegetables.
No vegetables. The potatoes are the vegetables.
Yeah, okay. So it's not the most healthy dish in the world. Okay, brilliant. That's fantastic. What was that called? Rösti, was it?
Oh, I would call it Rösti.
Rösti. Okay, fantastic. Any other typical Swiss food we should know about?
Well, there is another cheese dish which is called Raclette. And
Raclette.
It's also a type of melted cheese, but not that much melted than the fondue. And then you can eat it together with some boiled potatoes and small onions and other stuff. But again, this is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I suppose this is a really fatty food for when you're living in the mountains, in the snowy weather, when it's very cold and you need to get warm quickly.
You know what?
It's for that time.
I prefer Empanadas de Argentina. Or asado.
In that case, let's leave Switzerland for a moment, Daniel, and take us to Argentina, where your dad is from. You've been to Argentina, I suppose?
Yeah, I have been several times, maybe 6 times. The last time was back in 2017. Yeah. So all my relatives from the side of my father are in Argentina.
And are they in Buenos Aires or somewhere else?
Yes, they are in Buenos Aires and in the suburbs of Buenos Aires. And my grandparents are in Rio Cuarto. It is maybe 8 hours away from Buenos Aires, rather on the east. So it's not on the sea, or it's not on the sea.
It's towards the border with Brazil, maybe.
No, not that much.
Not that far east.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, Iguazu is in Brazil, I think. So you have Brazil, Paraguay, I think, and Argentina, and there are the waterfalls, the Iguazu waterfalls, the Las Cataratas, I think.
Yeah,
and
they are. I've been there, Daniel. They are so beautiful.
Yes.
Really, one
Amazing.
of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. If anybody has the opportunity to go to Iguazu, then they definitely should.
Do you miss Argentina?
Oh yes. When you just said empanadas, there I was thinking, well, yeah, I could eat an empanada right now.
What about alfajores?
Alfajores, fantástico.
Con dulce de leche.
Con dulce de leche, yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah, and I love drinking mate as well, which is if people don't know, it's this kind of Argentinian tea which you drink with a metal straw out of a cup, which is traditionally made of a kind of small pumpkin vegetable, and everybody in Argentina and Uruguay and Paraguay drink mate all the time, or most people, and I love drinking that. Do you like mate, Daniel?
Yes, I like it, but I was wondering, what do you think? Because drinking mate is all about being in company, drinking together with others, and usually you have only one cup of mate, and then you reach it to the other persons. What do you think about the COVID situation? Will it have an impact on the culture, on the mate culture?
Do you know what? I'm sure that it has had some effect. I haven't been in Argentina during COVID, But I'm sure it would have done that because, yeah, as you say, normally people are sharing one mate, one straw, and passing it between four people, six people, everybody, the person you meet as you walk down the street, everybody. So, yeah, for something like COVID, it would have been terrible. But the mate culture is so strong in Argentina and Uruguay and Paraguay that I think that probably by now, well, we are recording this on the 4th of April 2022. I'm sure that people there are going back to sharing as normal because that is mate. That's the way that people have done it forever. So I'm sure that people have gone back to sharing.
Yeah, and to me, it is like a clash of cultures, right? When I am thinking of Argentina and Switzerland, because it is really like a clash of cultures because the people are so different, and it's amazing. And I love the people from Argentina, and
because I suppose you would think of the people of Argentina as being very warm and
open,
touchy. And and probably if somebody in Switzerland was going to be sharing a mate with 7 people, including people they've just met, they might find it a bit strange, right, to put something in their mouth like that. Yeah, definitely. So obviously you have been to Argentina many times. What's your favorite part of Argentina, or place or thing that you like to do when you're in Argentina?
To be honest, it's really more the people that I find so amazing, because most of the time I was just in Buenos Aires, and also some areas what I saw also on the suburbs, it's a little bit beat down, if I can say that. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's got some beautiful areas too, the Recoleta and the Palermo area, and it's got some really nice areas. Caballito, it's one of my favorite areas in Buenos Aires. Just there's probably the kind of older looking areas, but of course it's got some run down places, and as you say as well.
What I really liked was, for example, the district in Boca, where Maradona grew up. There has so many houses with graffitis and with a lot of colors and so on. It's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't try to go there on a day when there's a football match, because wow, it is impossible. You can't move. The streets are all completely blocked up, so much traffic, and don't go in there wearing the t-shirt of the wrong football team, because you won't survive.
Were you able to watch a football match there?
I didn't actually, no. I regret that. I wish I did. Yeah, especially El Clásico, River Boca. That would be amazing.
I remember there was a guy who was exactly looking like Maradona, right? And he was waving, and then I was amazed, and I was like a little child again. And then he waved to me, "Sacame una foto, take a picture of me." And then why not, right? And I had my phone there, and I took a selfie, and then and then he said, he was smiling, right? Always smiling. And then he came to me and said, "Y Maradona cobra dólares." And that was the moment in which it clicked, right? Oh no, I am such a fool. Oh no. And then, I gave him some money, but I was like a child, right? I saw like maybe children see a Mickey Mouse, right? And I was away.
This is the kind of thing you do once, and then after you remember.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
I can't take photos with anybody who suggests it anymore. Absolutely, yeah. Brilliant, fantastic. Well, leaving Argentina now, coming back to Switzerland for a moment. Switzerland is a landlocked country. So it's got, as we said before, France, Germany, Austria, that little country Liechtenstein, and Italy around it. Do you travel much into the other countries? Have you traveled much around Europe?
Well, as a matter of fact, I have, but due to the COVID situation, it was really hard or impossible to do so. And in the past, I also visited some music festivals in Germany, for example. I kind of like that. And also, well, I like traveling in general. So for me, it is always great to see new parts and new locations. But I realized also that Switzerland can also be very beautiful, because I was not always aware of that, because it was just normal to me. But as we had not that many chances to go away, we stayed in Switzerland, and you have a lot of really beautiful hikes or paths.
Would you say that it's mostly beautiful for what people think of, like the mountains and lakes?
Yes, I like most the mountains, and it is kind of funny because I grew up surrounded by the mountains. To me, it was not special at all, and now that I moved away, I feel like nostalgic feelings, and I kind of love it.
If you spend too much time in the city, you really want to see some mountains.
No, but let's go back again to the other countries, because we were talking about other countries. I love Spain. I love also Barcelona. It was really cool. I was there several times. And what else? I mean, in Italy, I used to go to the Tuscany. I don't know how to say it. Tuscany.
Yeah, Tuscany. Yeah.
Because we have some relatives there, and it's just so amazing, because also the people are so different than typical Swiss people, and also the
more similar to the people are more similar to Argentinians, maybe.
Oh, most definitely. Yes, of course. and they are also talking with their hands, right? The Italians.
Gesticulating. Talking with their hands even when they're actually on the phone, and they're still pointing things out and things like that, no? Yeah. Exactly.
But also, we also like to go to the north, like to Norway. I think it is so beautiful, because in every country the culture is so different, the people are so different, but in the end you can have a great time together. It doesn't matter from which culture, which language, and so on. And this is also so fantastic when I started with my podcast, because I was able to get in touch with people from all over the world, and otherwise I would never have talked to them, right? So this is really special to me.
Absolutely, yeah. The similarities between people are much bigger than the differences.
Yeah.
Let's go into your podcast then. How long have you been doing My Fluent podcast?
I have started back in 2016, and it has grown a lot.
6 years.
And it has changed a lot as well, because in the beginning I had to write down every single word, because the goal was to start speaking. I was ashamed of speaking. I was afraid of speaking with people, and this kind of helped me to grow.
This is really, really brilliant, Daniel. You are a living, speaking success story. The fact that we are having this conversation right now shows it. And, there you go. Congratulations. And I've listened to, I think, one of your first episodes, and it's true. Your English is completely different, you know. You can tell that you feel much more confident and natural right now. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. And just so you know, I looked it up yesterday. Actually, the episode with you was the most succeeded episode, or let's say that with the most clicks, right? So,
oh wow!
So it had about
Great.
7,000 clicks. So
wow, that's fantastic, Daniel. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not what matters, because on my podcast, it's not about money. It's about getting in touch with people and connect and share the knowledge. But nevertheless, it's nice to see that the stats are growing, because of course it makes more fun when you know there are other people listening. Because in the beginning, nobody was listening, nobody. And yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, yeah, it was such a pleasure to be on there with you before, and now again. It's just a very natural conversation. I enjoy talking to you, so there you go.
Yeah, me too. It was really great and amazing. And I wanted to ask you also about your podcast. Do you have any future plans? Or because I remember on our conversation, you said something that you had an idea that maybe you could do some news for Saturday in which you would only talk about positive news. What happened about that idea?
Honestly, Daniel, that idea is still in the pipeline, as they say. I would really want to do that, but I just don't have time at the moment. You know, it's Simple English News Daily. It's a daily podcast. Luckily, I have Juliet, who's doing it twice a week most of the time. So I do it 3 times a week normally, and Saturday and Sunday is a nice break. But then I'm still working as a primary school teacher at the same time. I'm doing part-time at the moment, so I work 3 days a week in the school. But it's a very full job, you know. I mean, I wake up at 6:30 and I don't come back from school until 5 or maybe 6 or something. So it's a very, very full-time kind of, it's a full-time, part-time job. But yeah, I would love for SEND7 to be my job, my only job. It still needs a bit more time for that to happen.
But would you actually do it if you had the possibility to make it your full-time job? Or would you miss something? I mean, because it's completely different than what you are doing right now as a primary school teacher.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I love being a teacher. I've been a teacher for many years. Before I was a primary school teacher, as I am now in England, I was teaching English in Argentina and in India and Thailand and some other places. So yeah, I love being a teacher, and I think I will always be a teacher in some way. But also, since starting SEND7 2 years ago, it's been such a great experience, and I love making it, and I love seeing it grow, the same as you've seen my Fluent podcast grow. It's a great feeling, and I can see the beginnings of it becoming my job. There's some people who already support the podcast with money. If you're listening, thank you so much. You are absolutely helping this dream come true. But yeah, to answer your question, Daniel, yeah, there would be things I miss, but also I really want to see if it's possible, and I'd love to see that happen.
I wish you the best luck with that, and I really think that you can make it. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, totally. At the moment, my Fluent podcast is you normally have an episode every week or 2 weeks or something like that, no?
Maybe once a month only.
Oh, is it once a month now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And obviously you've always done this as a passion project.
Yeah.
But do you see anything different happening for the future of My Fluent podcast, or do you think it will always be like this?
I love reading books, right? And I had also the idea to make like a review or something like that in a podcast, right? Whenever I am reading a book, maybe that I can talk about the chapter, because I am reading anyways, right? And so why not the thoughts that I am having anyways, why not putting them in form of a voice message and then releasing it out to the world, and then just waiting and see what happens, because maybe there are other people who are reading the same thing, and then maybe there is a conversation, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think converting that thing that you already do and love into a project like that is perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, a great idea. Yeah.
Actually, I also was thinking of doing something completely different, because I have always this in my mind that I am just an English learner, but maybe I should do something different and talk about another passion, right? So, and for me, it is really important that the community can also share their opinion. I have a second podcast which is called The Vocab Man, and this is completely something different. And I saw also that it is growing a lot. Podcast.
If I remember right, The Vocab Man is generally taken from longer episodes. You take something specific, and then talk about the vocabulary from that.
Sometimes.
Is that right?
Sometimes when I come across an expression, this can be from a YouTube video or so on, I then explain it on an episode. So it's not always that I take something from my Fluent podcast. It can be from everywhere. Or for example, I watched a YouTube video, and then there was this word hodgepodge which was used.
Yeah.
And then I've written an email to the podcaster, and I have made a video of myself, and I asked him to explain me what hodgepodge means, so that I can make a Vocab Man episode out of it. And then he made it, and I could edit it, and for me it's so much fun. I love that.
Excellent.
I could see that I could reach out to many people, so that I can push out more episodes.
Brilliant. Well, I love everything that you're doing in both your long episodes and in the Vocab Man. I can understand why it's becoming more popular all the time. Well, yeah. I wonder whether there's anything else that we should speak about now. I wrote a little list for myself. I've stuck it up on my window behind me up here.
Yeah, okay.
And I think we've actually covered all of the main points.
Maybe we can do another interview or conversation in don't know when.
I love having these chats with you. So yeah, whenever you would like to, maybe we can think of another specific topic or something that you think would be really interesting, and do it again. And thank you for indulging me. Thank you for allowing me to be an interviewer for once.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I have to thank you, because you are a great interviewer, and I could really see you having your own podcast. And I mean, you have your own podcast. I mean, I could see that you have another podcast in which you conduct interviews, because I think you are such a great communicator, and you have, for me, you have a typical podcast voice, and that's why it's, in a way, it may sound a bit strange, but it's a pity that you are only making a news podcast. You know what I mean? Because in your podcast, we don't see you as a person. It's the news, full stop. And
it's true.
If you made a podcast about your passion, I'm sure this would blow up, or this would go off like a rocket, or I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. Well, again, when I have more time, I'll try to do both.
Okay.
But I love both things, you know, and I love talking like this, and I often think about doing something focused on the news, which is my topic, my passion, kind of, as well, but in a more conversational way.
But what passion in
again,
specific do you mean?
Well, people listen to me to hear the news every day, and it's not just something I'm making a podcast for. I really am almost addicted to reading the news, listening about the news. I spend hours and hours every day involved in world affairs, and so yeah, I would be happy to talk about this stuff more, and hopefully in SEND7 people can recognize that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just taking random sentences and putting it together. So hopefully that's noticeable. But if I have more time one day, then I'd like to make a conversational podcast as well.
That's your world news for today. A big thank you to Marita from Germany for becoming our newest supporter. SEND7 listeners, I am a guest in an episode of Luke's English podcast, which was released yesterday. We talk about how to learn English with the news, advantages and disadvantages of using the news, fake news and bias, my language journey, and other topics. That's on Luke's English podcast. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Tomorrow you will be with Juliet Martin. Have a great day.